And I am super happy to welcome all of you to our Sunday evening live show, Work on Workplace Relations with Aastha. It's 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and we are live on four platforms. Yes, so we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So please join in, and as you join in, drop in a hi so that I know you are here. I can welcome you. I can say a hi back to you. And also, as we talk about, I'm going to introduce the topic very, very soon, but as we talk, I want you to share in the chat box whatever your thoughts are, whatever your views are, whatever your experiences are around our topic today. Okay, so before I introduce the topic, let me tell you what is this show about. So, Work on Workplace Relations with Aastha is all about picking up aspects of whatever you're dealing with, whatever your experience is of workplace relationships. So, whatever directly or indirectly impacts your workplace relationships and hence your work experience, we pick up aspects of those, and we try and pick up aspects not as concepts but as real life events which are shared by a lot of leaders that I interact with, or things that I've experienced in my life, or a lot of what you all share. So we try and pick up those and then delve deeper and understand what's really going on, like get to the source of what's happening, right? So today I want to talk about when you change your organization, or if you've changed the job role, you've gone to a different team or a department altogether, and you experience the personality changing, your personality changing, that's what you feel, then this one's for you. If that's you, then this live today is specifically for you. Okay. So, where does this come from? Why did I pick this up? I'm going to read this out for you. So, there was one of the leaders who I was, in conversation with. She shared what she's gone through, and that made me just, bring this up. So, what she shared was that, she's been an extrovert and a very, very powerful communicator, communicating all around in her career. And 2 years back, she changed her organization. And in the new organization, she says, I'm going to read out from what she's written. Um, from last 2 years, as I changed my organization, my overall personality has changed, and that has shaken her up. Now, what has been the change? I've become introvert and have fear before speaking or even writing a mail. Not confident of what I'm saying, and that has affected my mental health and overall personality, which I used to carry earlier. I don't want to communicate now, and that is making it difficult for me to deliver, because within her profile, it is important for her to communicate, and she just doesn't feel like, and it's all driven by fear and leading to a lack of confidence there. Right now, if this resonates with you, right, then let me know. Give me a yes in the chat box, and also any perspective that you have, any way that you've dealt with it, or you've seen people around you dealing with it, do let me know. Okay. Now, typically in this scenario, I think there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. When you feel that your personality is changing, right, or it has changed from what it used to be, and now that is not going down well, it's having an adverse impact, it's pulling you down, you feel disempowered, as is the case with this lady. Well, one very, very important thing to consider, and let me talk in the context of this case. So, when she moved from this one organization to the other organization, and she says earlier she used to be this extrovert, confident, powerfully communicating lady, and now she's driven by fear. Fear of, should I say this? Fear of, should I write this mail? I don't even want to communicate. I don't have the confidence. When all of this is happening, in all probability, what happens is that when we are in a certain situation, when we are in a certain setup, and all looks good, I've heard leaders say, oh, now I have a boss who's very, very troublesome. He's a troublemaker. And earlier, it was all good. So the problem is with the boss. So here's what I want to propose. When she was in her earlier scenario, and now when she's in this new organization, while people have changed, while the setup has changed, the culture may have changed, everything changed, right? But she is that same person who was there earlier and who's here now in this new setup also. And in all probability, when things are going good, when it was all fine, she still was carrying the belief system that she's carrying today. The fear comes from where? Her beliefs are triggered. Whatever is that belief system that she's carrying, which is holding her back, her limiting beliefs, when they are getting triggered because of external stimuli, which could be in the form of what her boss says, how he treats her, or what kind of a way of working he has, how how she interacts with the colleagues and whatever it is that has changed, right? Now something in that environment is triggering her, right? And that trigger is maybe more frequent, which in the earlier case wasn't there. The safe, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just saying consider this, right? So this could be a possibility where in the earlier scenario she was absolutely comfortable because it was safe for her, it was the way she wanted, right? And now she's come to an environment where her beliefs are getting triggered, right? Now when such a thing happens and beliefs are triggered, and you start to operate from that whole belief system, and you start to confirm to it, okay, if the boss said you're not doing it well, or maybe you don't deserve to be here, or maybe the quality is not as good, whatever the scenario, or the colleagues are dominating, or they've kind of put you aside and they are in a group, and anything which triggers you and you start to believe, okay, I am this, I am not this, I'm not doing it well, I'm not doing it good enough, or I'm not good for anything, whatever that is for you. And then it starts to give you that fear. Now this may not have been happening as frequently earlier, right? So when you say that my boss earlier or the environment earlier was all fine, everything was going great, and now here I have people who don't understand, and it's not the right environment, and it's not the right boss, or not the right people here, then that's where there are two possibilities. And where one thing is, of course, that there are people and there are things which are not in sync with who you are and not in sync with your core values. That's one thing where I think clarity on what is non negotiable for me and clarity on what is it that I really want is important. Most often, when that clarity is not there, when we are not sure of what do we really want, then also we feel messed up. There's a turmoil. So, one is that. And the other could be when everything was going her way and it was all fine, then it was all calm. It was fine. It was like when the going is all good. But now, when the going got tough because of things that were a certain way and not as per her way, she gets triggered, she's impacted by it, and when she's impacted by it, it's causing this whole thing. And in due course, when we don't address it, when we try and suppress it, push it aside, then we start to get impacted, and if I may use a little heavier word, damaged also. When she says from being an extrovert, powerful communicator, and in that entire professional circle, to becoming somebody who's fearful, who thinks twice before writing a mail, before speaking up, so much so that she doesn't feel like communicating, and that's impacting her work, then somewhere it's also about what is that within me which is holding me back and not managing that, not being able to manage that. And why I'm not able to manage that? Because I don't have the muscle, I've not built that muscle. Because abhi tak sab badhiya chal raha tha, it was all fine. You don't feel the need when everything is going good, you don't feel the need, and you don't even look at what's missing. You are so busy basking in the glory of what's working. And now, when you are faced with all of this, she doesn't have the muscle, she's not able to deal with it, and it just goes on multiplying, because the impact of that negativity, of that which looks negative, is so much. And we focus, I mean, by design, the brain focuses on it so much that it all looks messed up, and therefore we blow it out of proportions. It becomes the center of our living, and it looks what is happening. So if there is, hi Mukta, good evening, welcome. So if it is, if this is something that you are experiencing, it's not, I mean, to my mind, in my experience, it's not really something new that has happened to you, or something new that you have acquired, कुछ नया पैदा हो गया है आपकी personality में, ऐसा नहीं है. I just feel it's just that which is there inside already, which starts to show. And it just starts to show because outside what is there, the stimuli is actually triggering your belief system, and you are going to respond. You're going to respond in a way, the way you've learned. You have a learned behavior, and you have no other access, no other way of responding to it. And because you've never worked on it, and you've never made efforts to really see, okay, aisa bhi ho sakta hai, what is it within me which is holding me back, which is limiting me. Most of the times we don't do that work. We don't, because we don't feel the need. And when we are struck by something that's not working, that puts us into a messy state, that's where then we are looking helplessly all around, then we're running around, that because it starts to impact you. And when you let it impact you for a while, in her case she says 2 years. Consider when she started working in this organization, when she started her work, it wasn't as bad 2 years back when she started. It happened over time. So when we push aside things thinking, oh, it's one of event, and we are not aware, we don't observe ourselves, we don't look into those little things, and we just shove them aside thinking it's just negligible, insignificant. That's when they start to pile on, and we don't even realize when it's getting here. So so I think it's just about doing the work. It all boils down to the same thing again. At the cost of sounding repetitive, I would still say, do the work now. Do the work now. You may think it's all fine, you may think zarurat nahi hai, but do the work now. What work? The work to figure out what's here which is holding me back, which is not letting me bring out my 100% potential, which is not letting me become my better version. And if I'm just surviving, then the moment I'm faced with something which is supposedly not pleasant, difficult, which puts me in a state of mess, it's only because I've not learned to deal with it. And not just your professional areas. A lot of times we see people in their personal spaces, something goes wrong, and their whole life turns around. They're like, ab kya kare? Then they completely shut down. They stop meeting people. I've seen people like those, in my close family, who just shut down. They don't talk to anybody, they don't want to meet anybody, as if it's a big calamity. I'm not trying to undermine what you're going through, but consider that uh, things that we cannot control, if we are constantly chasing them and trying to turn them around, it's not going to lead us anywhere. Versus if I can only distinguish, this is not in my control, theek hai, this is in my control, can I do this? Right? And if I can do this right now, if I can start with the foundation right now when things are kind of okay. And when there is a hardship, if I use the term, when there is a difficult situation, when there is a pain, when there is a suffering, that gives you an opportunity to scale it up, to go to the next level, because you have that foundation on which to build it up. Right? So Desire to control the situation is actually creating a problem. If we allow ourselves to let go of this desire to be everything as per we want, can create a better reality. Yes. So that's a good one, Mukta. Yes. The desire to control, absolutely. And so that's where I think it's very, very important that we can we can just do that work. We can and within that, I think, yes, we can, if we can just do. I mean, I think today I just finished my master class, and after that we had this live, and as I was talking to some of these leaders into whatever they're dealing with within that space, within the work area. And one thing that we often get into is that um, there are certain basic things that people need to understand. People, as in the boss, the colleague, the subordinates, the clients, they need to understand. And does that mean, if I'm saying that, okay, I need to do the work on myself, does that mean that whatever they are doing is acceptable? Then I just tolerate it because I have no control over it. And it's fine because control nahi hai, to just let them do whatever they're doing. And then I tolerate, or I keep doing that work on myself. And which is where a lot of people also had questions. Oh, no, no, it's always interdependent. Just by doing the work on myself, nothing can happen. Right. And I would surely want you to give it a thought that when when things like these are happening, when you say that, okay, you tell me to stop blaming the other people, but whatever they're doing, is it all fine? Then again it comes down to a point where fundamentally I need to understand what's in my control and what is not in my control. So one, what other people are doing, what the situation is not in my control. That's absolutely clear, fortunately or unfortunately. Now, when that is not in my control, then what is in my control? What can I really work upon? And that is me. And then a lot of people said, no, no, that's not as easy as it may sound. Absolutely. I'm not saying it's as easy. It's simple. It's not rocket science, but it's not easy for a simple reason that we've lived a certain way all our lives. And now when you say, Acha, you're saying this shift, this problem, this pain is all because of what's happening inside me. So I know that's challenging what you've been living with, that's challenging your conditioning. And then it looks like, wow, it's such a long process. Kab hoga ja karke? It's going to take a lot of time, and we are so used to that instant gratification. Tell me something which will bring that shift immediately. And in fact, somebody was asking me this, okay, what can I do until then? I mean, fine, we'll get on with doing the work, we'll start the program, but until then, what do we do? Because we want a quick fix solution. We get so desperate. I need to just get out of this pain. And that just made me think also, because yes, at some point I also used to think that way, that I mean, right now all I need is to get out of this pain. Right. And I think my idea of getting out of the pain is to have the situation a certain way, which is where I think the point that Mukta just made, we just want to control the whole thing. So what can I do so that I have the situation my way, so that I can feel this way, and if I feel this way, then I'm going to be at peace, then everything is going to be fine. Whereas the fact of the matter is, to be able to create anything outside in terms of situation aisi honi chahiye, or people are like this, or they behave like this, is not in my control, right? So the other thing that I want to say is, if I'm going through any of this thing, where I feel people are behaving the way they are behaving, two scenarios arise. One is where, when I do the work on myself, I have the awareness, I build the consciousness, and I'm calm and comfortable, and I'm okay with letting things unfold. Then two things happen. So one is, I'm able to bring a shift to that camaraderie. Because when my way of being changes, when my whole approach changes, and I start to be okay with exploring and look into possibilities, where all this while I was absolutely restricted. So that fear that she's talking about, this leader is talking about, is somewhere because you're so governed by whatever happened outside, and now you're only looking at, okay, if I write this, then what will happen? If I speak this, what will happen? Let me not do this, let me not communicate. So whatever has happened outside, which I'm not aware of, whatever that has happened, and she's taken it too personally, and she has come to believe that, okay, maybe I'm not good enough, or I shouldn't be doing this, and that's where the fear is coming from. To not mess up, to not make a mistake, to be doing what I was doing earlier. That was the perfect me, and I'm supposed to be like that now. I'm supposed to be like that now, and we don't give that space to ourselves, right? So when that is happening, there's no way I'm looking at possibilities. But when I am okay with it, then, like I said, the first thing that happens is, when I'm open to possibilities, doing that work, and I open up, then I'm able to bring a shift to that chemistry, that camaraderie, that situation. Or the other thing that happens is, whatever those other people are doing, which is not tolerable, okay, but right now that not tolerable, you're still accepting, or I'd say you're still letting it impact you the way it is impacting. You're not distancing yourself from it, because that fear also doesn't let you assert yourself. That fear doesn't even let you say what you need, or rather say to the others, forget that. You push yourself down, that no, 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 I'm not supposed to do that. अपने आप से भी आप सच नहीं बोलते हो. Yeah. So when you're doing that work, the other thing that happens is, if the camaraderie doesn't shift despite you doing whatever, and by the way, it's not a 1 week or 1 month thing, it's a journey. Then the other thing is that you consciously arrive at a stage where you understand that this is non negotiable for me. And now it's not a matter of me not doing the work or me holding myself back, but it's more about, we are not at this, we're not in harmony. And I don't want to be impacted in the way I'm impacting. I don't want to be in this environment. I think this is not the kind of or this is not giving me the growth, this is not letting me express my potential. So with all the awareness, and consciously, you make a choice to move away, from this surroundings, right? So it's not about, oh, this is a standard outcome, and let's do the work, arrive at this. You don't know what's going to unfold, right? But building the muscle is that, still the fear may strike, but I'm still open, and I'm fine. I know it's just going to pass, and I'm still willing to give that space to myself and see what comes up. And then there are possibilities within that, that something new opens up, there's a new chemistry that starts to build with that boss, or with that colleague, or with that client, right? Or I realize that this is not working, and I have learned now, because I built the muscle, I've learned to stand up for myself, I've learned to assert, I've learned, I know what I want, what is non negotiable, and therefore I make a conscious choice. So either ways, it's not the outcome that I am obsessed with. It's the journey that I flow with. And whatever the outcome, then I'm fine with it. I just choose, this works. Okay, no, then what do I want to create? So what do I need in this moment? What is, you getting my point, right? So uh, I think, yeah, that's what I want to say. There's lots that has gone, and a lot of dimensions that we've kind of spoken about. So hear this out, and see what you, as you listen to this, as you reflect, what opens up for you. And in some shape or form, maybe you're experiencing some of this, the shift in the personality. I've experienced it in my work life, shifting from one to the other, and from to the other to the third also. But I just realized one thing: it was all about what was going on within me. It already existed. Outside was just a stimuli, it was just triggering what was already there. And if we can only bring in awareness to that, and then be okay with what unfolds, we're willing to give that space to ourselves, I think is important. Okay, I see some inputs here from Mukta. Let's get down to this. Hi, Vicky. Welcome. Certain situations we need approval, somewhere we need security, and Sedona technique is all about how to let go all these things. Okay, now come to you as a reality. Okay, coming back to the self again and again and again. Absolutely, absolutely, very, very true. I think the whole journey is about reconnecting with yourself. I can't agree more. Yes. So yeah, I think that's about it. So just be willing to explore, just be willing to do that work. And uh, and I can tell you one thing, that there is so much to be explored, and such amazing things that open up, if only we can get okay with going through that roller coaster, the ups and downs. And if we can just let go the need to control and just grip everything, that makes it painful. So yeah, I think that's about it. Makes sense. Would love to hear what you think about this. What was your reflection as we spoke about this? Any experience that you've had, any perspective that you have, any way that you've dealt with it? What's the journey that you've gone through? All of this, when you share, is enriching for each one of us. So the idea is we learn from each other. Please go ahead and share. No problem. Whatever point you're here listening to this, go ahead and share. And do put in your feedback also. And I'm going to see you next Sunday with yet another topic, and looking forward to have you all join in. So take care. Have a great, great week ahead. Lots of love, lots of happiness. Thank you, Mukta. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, all those of you who joined in. And I just want to see quickly, because I'm not able to see the Facebook. Okay. Hi, Sunil Mama. Thank you so much. Glad that you were here. Hi, Anushri. Hi, Suparna. Thank you so much. Lovely. So take care, all of you. Thank you, Mukta. Thank you for being ever so gracious and bringing such amazing nuggets that you always do, such lovely inputs. Thank you. Thank you, Vicky, for joining in. And I'm glad that this resonates, and you all give your inputs, you share your perspectives. Keep doing that. See you very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.